the angels told me that this was the source of all love and light in the universe. That this was God that I was seeing. This was the source. And when I was able to focus my inner vision, I saw around this sphere of light, faint forms that all of a sudden came into focus, and I could see all the legions of angels around this sphere of light singing praises to the source of all love and light in the universe. And then some years later I came upon these illustrations which actually show exactly what it was that I saw. Yeah. So this scene is going on right now as we speak in the higher angelic realms. And the sound, the cosmic sound, filters down through the dimensions into the lower worlds. But here we're very cut off from it. We don't hear the celestial music anymore. But more and more people are awakening and attuning to it and hearing it, because the music is calling us home. It's calling us back into the oneness. And we can hear it in our heart and soul. That's the spiritual movement that we're all a part of. We're unifying into the oneness, into the unified field. And our souls are coming together again at the close of the ages right now, especially as we approach 2012. This is very strong to unify into the unified field and to link with it. Yes?
Have you heard celestial music in other places in the world, like India and stuff?
Yeah, I have. I mean,
Is it different?
I've been to India, I've been to Egypt, I've been to Peru, and wherever I go, I hear it. It's all there. Yeah.
It's the same?
It's everywhere. Yes, it's the same. Yeah. I mean, of course, when you go to India and you immerse yourself in that culture, you have an experience of, all the Hindu gods. And when I was in India, I started having dreams of Ganesh, Brahma, and Vishnu, and they all start coming to you in your dreams and stuff. And perhaps if you've been to India, you know what I'm speaking of, because it's so permeated in the morphogenic field there, in the collective consciousness there.
You see those instead of the baby cherubs?
Yeah, I didn't see so much baby cherubs when I was in India. But that wasn't what I was there to connect with the indigenous gods and goddesses there. That's what I wanted to do. But so anyway, when I had this experience, this is where the music came from. So I had this experience, and eventually what I did was I flew right into the center of the golden sphere of light, because I was looking back on my body. And at the time I was also doing a lot of isolation float tank experiences. I was very shamanic in my approach. I did everything I could because I've been always a rebel. And I always knew that I wanted to have a direct experience of the light. I wasn't satisfied with just reading from books. I wanted to push the edge, push the envelope. So I experimented with everything. I took a lot of psychedelics. I did peyote ceremonies. I worked with shamans. I had a whole series of doing things in the flotation tank, where I got in the samadhi tank, where you float on the warm water in complete darkness for hours, and really leave your body. I had a lot of, this is all in my book, by the way, coming out soon. And so a lot of these things I did were just to open doorways so that I could see. And it wasn't like I used them all the time. I think they're here, if you use them with the right intention, they can be very illuminating and enlightening, and you can have very dramatic experiences, but you're not to use them all the time. But they do open windows for you, and they do reconnect neurocircuitry and activate certain codes within you so that you can, you can have an access to these energies. So anyway, when I flew into the light, then the angels told me that I was to be a channel for the celestial music. They said the instrument you're to play is the harp, and then if you link with us, we will work with you to bring this special healing music to the planet at this time of transformation and ascension. They were very clear to me that the purpose for it was to raise the vibration. It was a higher frequency energy to elevate and illuminate the consciousness of those that would receive it, and that many people, it would touch a place deep in their heart and soul and remind them of home. Because there's like a clarion call. The angels, Gabriel is blowing his horn, and he's calling us all home into the love right now, and asking us to remember from whence we came and who we are, and to link with this great movement towards the center now, to come back together. And that's what the music has within it. It has, they told me even before this happened, that the music has within it the unified field, that it has frequencies that resonate to the angelic realms and to divine love. And at first, it seemed like a kind of, I didn't know what to think. I thought I was making this all up in my head, that I was going to be some sort of savior of the world with my harp, you know. And I resisted. You know, I didn't just jump right into it, but the angels kept coming to me, and they were so steadfast in this heavenly request that I eventually succumbed and gave them. I dedicated my life to it. When the vision was illuminated to me and I saw that it was real, I said I would do it. And within a week, a small harp came into my possession, and I carried the small harp out into the canyons where I would take it out, and I would just put my hands to the strings, and the angels would just start playing through me, where I could completely, you know, just relax, and then my hands would just start to move on the strings by themselves. It was a very intense experience, a very terrifying experience at times, because it was such a powerful force moving through me. And as it would happen, I would just break out profusely sweating, and my hands would be trembling like this, and my eyes would be tearing just profusely, where I couldn't even see, where I'd have to like squeeze my eyes to get the tears out of them. It was such a high frequency energy that it was striking such a deep chord. You know, because the harp is the most pure harmonic instrument, the most pure tone harmonically of any instrument on the planet. There's nothing that sounds like a harp. The tonal quality of it, you can get 4 or 5 octaves of overtones coming from the harp. There's no other instrument that can do that. That's why it was always held sacred in many ancient cultures, and it's found all over the world. It's found in ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, throughout the Celtic lands, the British Isles, ancient Sumeria. The oldest harp that we found was dug up in Iraq, in some ancient Sumeria, from the city of Ur, 5,000-year-old harp that they unearthed from the royal courts. And in Egypt, the harp was only played by the highest initiates in the mystery schools and the temples of healing and initiation. So when I toured Egypt, there were many paintings on the temple walls and carvings of the harpist. It was the most revered musicians were the harpists. You know? So yeah, there's something about the tone of the harp and the way that the angels play it through me that actually creates healing and awakening in many people. Some of you heard me say in my concerts that I've had many letters from people all over the world that can speak to the power of the music, that they've had all these miraculous healings. So let's see what else I've got here in the picture. Get through a couple of these. This is in sequoias, playing for the great trees. This is in the temple of Luxor. You can see all the orbs around. It's like an orb shower. So this is the Christ self here, the I Am Presence, the Christ self. And it was by traveling up this central pillar of light, you know, as I'm in my meditation looking up and just looking straight up through my crown chakra. You can see it. You might try it next time you're doing your meditation. Just look up and look straight up at your crown chakra and see what you see. You can actually travel up this pillar of light, and then you go up into your 5th dimensional Christ self, and then you expand into this is like the rainbow body of light. This is what also the Buddhists, the Tibetan Buddhists in the Vajrayana tradition, they speak of the diamond body, the rainbow body of light. So this is very similar. You can see all the colors of the spectrum are represented here. And you can just go right up this pillar of light, connect with your Christ self, and then you expand, just very big. Yeah? And so that's what I would do all the time. And then I would bring all the light of my Christ self expanding into the Christ light, and then bring it back down by anchoring it down through my chakras into my root chakra and down to the earth, and using gravity to pull my higher self, my Christ self, into my body. Because I think that's what's really what's happening for a lot of us, is we're trying to fully incarnate, because most of us have not been fully incarnated into our bodies. Like I was just describing, you have to have your lower chakras fully functioning in order to ground your energy, and by so doing, you pull all this light into your physical body, and that actually starts to activate your DNA, and then you become like an embodied avatar. Yeah? And as we do that, as we embody more light and harmonically, and more people do that, then it creates a resonant field around through the collective of humanity, and then all of humanity can be uplifted I think, you know, you're doing that here in the community in your own particular way. You have your own perspective about it, and you're doing it as well. But I think to fully embody the light is our mission. Most of us are trying to get out of our body all the time and to escape. But I think that it's kind of a divine paradox that in order to really get out, you got to get in first.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this was a very powerful meditation for me. I don't know if you're aware of this, but this is also the violet flame, which is the ray of transmutation. Saint Germain is the Lord of the violet flame. This is Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta here. This is Grand Teton. This is where the Lodge of the Ascended Masters and the Great White Brotherhood are. I'm going to start to move into a little bit of this. We're talking about Ascended Masters. So as you saw in my pictures, I've always been fascinated by sacred geometry.